I said, "Dear Andre 3000." What is that box in his hand? But he won't. But he won't. Andre 3000. 3 stacks. That felt good. All right, I'm Kianci Street. I'm on Kianci Street. Now I'm good. All right, I'm good now. I'm good now. I don't think I washed all the soap out of that water bottle. You know what's crazy? Soap gives you diarrhea. I'm gonna drink that water. I mean, I scrubbed out all the soapy, because soap leaves a film. I scrubbed it all out, but it still has that one taste. I don't know if it's that. I don't think it's the creatine that I put in there. What in the world? To me, you are perfect. Why they got Andre 3000 with a blonde wig on? That's old. Snow goggles and glasses. That's an Atlanta thing. The goggles thing, that's an Atlanta thing. All eyes on me. You know what's crazy? I'm alright now. But eventually, when I lose weight, this always happens when I cut weight. My face goes, my cheeks get sucked in. I got a, oh really? So he had to first listen to the Love Below. It's a washing machine. Yeah, I'm made the music. Yeah. I don't know what I had that speaker box, the Love Below. I don't know what I did with it. Can't remember. I don't know what I did with it. I think I lost the CD. Lita. Is that Lita or Aida? Is that Aida or Lita? Well, that's an I. It's an uppercase I. Aida. You still there? You never feel that way. He said he doesn't feel that way. Okay, can you just make some more hip hop anyway? Yeah. The CeeLo. I love seeing like bands like Outkast, Goody Mob, T.I., Future, Lil Baby, the what's the name of that? The Migos. Even this guy, the big guy, the comedian dude. Cause it's like, yo man, that's Atlanta. You know, yo, like the Migos, it's like they're from Lawrenceville. Like I live the next town away from Lawrenceville. We're all in Gwinnett County. It's crazy, you know. So it's kind of like, you know, even like the whole Quentin Miller thing. Quentin Miller's like he's also from Gwinnett County. A lot of people from Gwinnett County actually. So it's kind of like, wow, you know, seeing people like Gucci Mane and stuff like that. It's like, wow, man. You see the Atlanta, Ian J-Rod, now he's playing with Janet Jackson. It's like, man, he's a local dude here in Atlanta. Yeah, it's wild. It's wild. She's right. He's right. Some people get into the business because they're people persons. Like they don't mind taking pictures with the fans. Some people get into the business for money. Some people get into the business because they just love people. They're just like outward, extroverted kind of people. They love people. They love sharing with people. Some people it's because they have insane amounts of talent. The people who are in it for insane amounts of talent, the one thing is they're like with the people. Andre 3000 is like that. Kendrick is like that. You know what I mean? Drake is the people kind of guy. He's into the business for the people and the fame, and you know what I mean? Not even the money, because he kind of had money. He could have got money acting. You know? You know, some people, you know, get into the business for the money. That's any one of them Lils. You know, they got one song and that's it. You know, they're just in it for the money. It's a hustle. You know, that's like Lil Pump and guys like that. They're just in it for the money. You know, that's true. I never really thought about it like that. Now, you can make all the snide comments you want, and you'll only be talking to yourself. And he's just talking. He said the three things. I got hauled off the ambulance. Whatever you're saying, Max, I can't see it. So, you can sit in your corner and talk to yourself and have the little snide comments. See that heavy bag in the background? It ain't just for looks. If we were standing face to face, I'd probably try to kick your head off your shoulders. I wouldn't even have to do that. I just smack fire out you. I wouldn't even give you the dignity of like kicking or punching you. I'd smack fire out you. You know. So, but since I can't, I can mute you and you can go babble along to yourself. You know. Singing. That coat, oof, it's a beautiful coat. Yeah, that's true. You know. But yeah, like Max, you can make your little snide comments. That heavy bag in the background, I don't just have it for show. You know. So I know if you said it in my face, you know, I'd smack you so hard I'd try to dislocate your jaw. To be honest. I would try to dislocate you. You wouldn't even see it coming. You just see a flash and that's it. I'd try to dislocate your jaw with a smack. You know. You wouldn't even say it. You wouldn't say it. You know. I'm talking to the guy who had the little racist comments in the comment section. I muted him. You can't see the comments. I can't see the comments. So he's probably in the comment section, doesn't realize no one can see him. You know. What I don't like, what I hate, man, is when you say something in the comment section and you know you wouldn't say it. You know you wouldn't say it. You know you wouldn't say it to my face. You know. I'd smack fire at him. You know you wouldn't say that to my face. You know. And the way YouTube is, you can't block anybody. You can hide them. And when you hide them from your channel, they can still comment, although you can't see the comment and nobody else in the chat can see the comment. You know. It's like, yeah, man. Like, I don't like cowards. I don't like people who hide behind, I don't like people who hide behind the anonymity of the keyboard. The anonymity of the comment section. I mean, if I was really about it, I could just stalk you, check your account, and I could find out, I could find your address just by your account. I could find out where you live. and I'll tell your parents. They said so. I don't even want to, I don't even want to like repeat it, But I'm kind of like, look, I got a heavy bag back there. I got boxing gloves. I got MMA gloves. I got shin guards for kicks. I got that stuff for a reason, man. I didn't just buy it just to be like, oh yeah. No, I have it for a reason. Like I would try to smack my handprint in their face. It's like, why would you? And I wouldn't even dignify them with punching. I just smack them. I'd smack them. I would humiliate them by smacking them. I'd smack fire at them. Like, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like cowards, man. Two things I don't like. I don't like cowards, and I don't like bullies. I don't like either one of them. Cowards or bullies. I don't like them. A coward is a coward. It's self-explanatory. A bully is a coward that takes it out on everybody else because he hates himself and he's afraid of whatever he's afraid of. It's, they're both insecure. It's like people like that. They take advantage of little kids. You pick on little kids. You pick on the defenseless. That's what it is. You pick on the defenseless. You pick on people that they can't do anything to you. They're defenseless. I just don't like it, man. I don't like it. I don't bullies and trolls. They're both the same. They're two sides of the same coin. So, and I don't know if he's still in the comment section. Because like I said, with YouTube, you can't block anybody. You can't block anybody. You can mute them, in that, like, they can still comment. No one's going to see it. You're not going to see it, and the people in the comment section is not going to see it, but they can still comment. I don't even want them. I want my channel hidden from them. Like, you know what I mean? YouTube really don't do much. If you report something, nothing happens. Nothing happens. So it's like, again, if I was really like that, I'd dox them. I'd find their address. I'd post it online anonymously, because it's easy to make an anonymous X account or something like that and just post it, And I'd go to their house, sit outside, watch the movement, and then go outside. I'd be like, okay, that's probably the guy. So all you gotta do is say, Max, and they're gonna look around like this. Yeah, that's the guy. Yell out Max from like behind a tree or something like that. And then, like, they be looking like this. That's the guy. You know what I mean? Like, if I was really, petty like that, and it happens. It happens. There are people online who will do that. They'll easily find your address, go to your house. God forbid if you live in the same state as them, they'll go to your house, and then they'll confront you. I don't like trolls. I don't like bullies or trolls. There we go. She got 25 million off of that one album. Holy smokes. Wow, 25 million. Toure is hilarious. Whew. I wasn't gonna work out today. Yeah, I wasn't gonna work out today. I was like, I don't know. I literally was just gonna be like, whatever. I'll just go meditate and read. Well, then I was like, yeah, but it really is leg day. Then I was like, but if I'm gonna do leg day, why am I not doing cardio? That's another thing too. If I ever got into it with somebody, I could pull a full 8 rounds on them. You know, but yeah. Yeah, I was like, well, it's leg day. And I was like, if I'm going to work out, if it's leg day and I'm going to work out, I might as well get on the bike. I don't like taking breaks because the moment you take a break, like I don't work out on Sunday. I give my body a time to rest and recuperate. You know, I don't like to, you know, I might mess around on the drums, but I don't even really like to practice on drums. Like not some kind of hard shed. I like to just kind of mess around. But oh wow. But oh wow. But yeah, so I don't like I said, I don't like to take breaks because I know me. If I take a break, I had to gather my thoughts. If I take a break, I ain't gonna want to do anything else. I'm gonna be like, well, I took a break yesterday. I can take a break today. So I'm like, all right, I just gotta force myself to do it. You know. And the way working out goes, eventually you keep doing it, it becomes hard to stop. Any kind of training, any kind of MMA training, any kind of cardio training, even weightlifting. After a certain amount of time, it becomes hard to stop. The only reason why you stop is because I got things to do. It's like, okay, I still have to, you know, but you can kind of, you can get kind of lost in it. Like even right now, I'm kind of getting lost in it. You know, I'm just kind of like, la la la, you know, this is cool. I could do this all day, you know. But yeah, you can get lost in it. Yo, I went to church with I used to go to church with John Jones's brother-in-law. I never knew it. He goes, yo, you know who my brother-in-law is? Because I think he found out I train. And he goes, you know who my brother-in-law is? I'm like, who? He said, John Jones. I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, yeah, John Jones is my brother-in-law. And I was like, I know the guy, and I've known the guy for years. So I know he wouldn't lie. So he pulled out his phone. I was like, bro, you don't gotta. I'm just shocked. I have a shocked look on my face. I'm like, bro, you don't gotta show me, bro. He's like, no, look. And he's got pictures of him, his sister, and John Jones with his arm around his sister. Like, you know, and they got kids. And I was like, holy smokes. It's his common law wife. They're not married, but they got a couple kids and all of that. He's like, yeah, man. John Jones is my brother-in-law. He's like, they're not married. They're common law married. He's like, yeah, man. I was like, really? He's like, yeah, bro. I think he knew, like, I was a big fan of John Jones. And he was like, yeah. So, you know. You know what? The thing about John Jones is this. People are like, oh my God. He's, he's so crazy. He's so wild. He's on drugs. Let me tell you something. When you have a guy who is intent, like, guys like him don't go out and, fight in the octagon at such a high level, at an assassin's level, and then go home and drink a cup of milk. They just don't. They're, they fight hard, they work hard, they play hard. They're wild. I understand it, So, yeah. See, Michael Ward. See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? And see? Look at this. As I said, look, Seth. The heavy bag ain't for nothing, bro. And the boxing gloves and MMA gloves I got right there, they're not for nothing. I'm not John Jones, but I'll act like John Jones to you. You wouldn't say it in my face, so why would you say it online? Why would you say it online? I'd beat you into... I'd make you call me daddy, bro, if I wanted to. I'd make you call me daddy. So, I'd make you call me daddy. If you ever said that in my face. So, look in the comment section. We got another one. Who's that? That's the neighbor. Look in the comment section. So, that's what I was talking about, Mike. Look in the comment section. I'd make him call me his daddy. So, it's stuff like that, man. I don't like... Yeah. I didn't live in the hood. I grew up in a really, really nice part of town. Which, for me, I grew up in a nice part of town. And I was always too white for the black kids. I was too white for the black kids and too black for a lot of the white kids. So for a while I hung out with a lot of Latinos and Asians and Indians, until people found out that I was a musician. And I got into the punk scene and then the metal scene, and I was also doing like BMX. I had a half pipe in my backyard, And then once people find out you have a talent, they're like, oh, you are cool. But yeah, I used to fight a lot, bro. I used to get picked on and bullied. A couple times I got my get back. I got older. started working out, started training. And I was like, remember that time? And it was funny. One of the guys was like, hey man, you're good at it. Yeah, thanks man. Remember that time you used to pick on me? A couple times. About 3 or 4 times, actually. 4 times. You know, but one time one of the dudes was like, hey man, I remember you. Hey, he was all like, hey man, I remember you. I was like, I remember you too. You know. We were at this place that was called the Pub on the Jersey Shore. And I went outside to indulge in a little greenery, I'll say. A little broccoli. And I was like, hey, you want to go outside? Yeah, man. And then I wasn't going to do anything at first. Hey, man, I didn't even know you, blah, blah. He's talking. We're sitting there kicking it. And as I start getting high, I'm like, it just switched. I was like, remember that time? Yeah, you used to pick on me. Oh, no, man, we were kids. We weren't that kids. We weren't that much kids. You know, we were teenagers. You know, and by that time I was like maybe 25. Almost 26. It was the summertime. My birthday's in July. And I just swung on him. Knocked him out cold. You know, knocked him out cold. Like, and his arms were like this. His legs were like stiff. Starched him. You know. And I had saw him again, maybe a year later. He saw me, turn his head real quick and walk away. Like, with some vigor in his step. You know. But yeah, I don't like bullies. That's why I don't like bullies. And I don't like trolls. I used to get bullied. You know. I was the guy with the bad skin and the braces. Didn't know how to dress. I was a nerd. You know. I used to get picked on. You know. So I don't like bullies, man. I don't like trolls or bullies. They're both cowards. You know. I mean, a troll, somebody who goes online and they say some like racist stuff, or they just, you know, they hide behind the anonymity of their keyboards. You know, it's the same thing as bullying. You're doing something to someone that you know they can't defend themselves. It's the same. It's both sides. Like trolls and bullies. It's the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin. A bully will pick on people that he knows he can beat. You know, they can't defend themselves. And a troll will pick on people online that he knows they can't get to him. They can't defend themselves. It's the same energy, man. You know. I knew this guy named Bullyfoot. You know why they called him Bullyfoot? He would specifically go after bullies. If he knew you were a bully, he'd go after you. He beat the brakes off you. They called him Bullyfoot. You know? And eventually his name got, like, he got transferred to another school. I think he moved to, like, Arizona. But yeah. And he wasn't a big guy. His real name was, oh, man. Not Jimmy Colano. Oh. His brother's name was Mike. His sister's name was Tony. Oh, I can't remember his name. But he was probably like 5'7", stocky, and he was like naturally muscular. It's not Colano. Oh, I can't remember Jimmy's name. That's crazy. But I saw him knock dudes out. I saw him beat the brakes off him. He was just like a natural fighter. You know. Never trained or anything like that. He just came out the womb being able to fight. You know. But yeah, we called him Bullyfoot. You know, he would specifically go after bullies. You know, and the teachers hated that he was fighting all the time, but they kind of gave him some slack because they were like, yeah, you know, yeah, technically we gotta do this and that, but they'd be like, we appreciate what you're doing, you know, stuff like that. Oh, Bullyfoot. Oh, I knew his sister first. If I focus on his sister's name, I can't remember their last name. It was Mike, and he had a sister Tony. He was the youngest. And it's not Jimmy Colano. Jimmy Colano's another one of my friends. He's a football player. He's a good dude. Jimi Hendrix. Do I have a point to all of it? No. Just talking. You know. I wouldn't even be saying all this. Except for the trolls online. You know. Yeah. Yeah, so, you know. Stuff like that annoys me, man. You know. How long have I been on here? I got a minute and 30 seconds. Plus, I like to talk because it makes the time go by. You know. You know. You get your mind off of how long you've been exercising. You know. Stream of consciousness type of stuff. You know. I felt myself sweating. I guess I didn't realize. Like, this is what I was talking about earlier in the stream. Like, you go through you get in the zone. And it starts feeling so good, you're like, I don't feel like stopping. Like right now, I don't feel like getting off the bike, but I know I have to. You know. Okay. You know what's crazy? Bicycle cardio. Well, they say it's not as cardio effective. Like, there's a reason why guys don't ride bikes. They don't ride bikes. Like, fighters don't ride bikes. They jog. Which is why I need a treadmill. You know. Alright, what time is it? .45. Alright. My next move, I gotta put on a 40-pound pack to my fishing gear and get on that. Actually, this is really 45 pounds. Okay, 702. So 717. Yeah, I know what to do. Stick it on there. There we go. I usually expect to do 15 minutes, but it usually ends up being more like 20 to 25 minutes. Get your boot out. Get your boot fit. I gotta do something with that, well, my daughter could use it. I got a little kids kick bag. My daughter could use it. Although she could kick that heavy bag. You know what's crazy? This guy's making an excuse. He's making an excuse for this artist. Oh, well, she's got kids. Me and my wife have 4 kids. That's still no excuse to be late. You're late because you have no respect for your fans who paid $400 or $500, $600 for the tickets. Like, stop it. You know. Yeah, my wife and I have 4 kids. Guess what? You can still find a way to do on time. That's like that's some bull. "41 minutes." What'd you say? It's wrong? Yeah. Well, really? No, it's not wrong. I think I just stuck it on there. No, it's not wrong. Yeah, it's not wrong. Is it? Oh, you're right. It is wrong. I think it is wrong. I'm looking at it. No, because the light part sits on top of the water. Unless the dark one is supposed to be on top. No. Why? I think the dark part's supposed to be on the top. And the light part's supposed to be on the bottom. I like the light part on the top because I can't see. Anything that's going to make the make the bobber stand out, make my line stand out in the water. We usually go in the, we go to the, what's the name of it? Chattahoochee River, which, it's cool, because you can go rafting down the Chattahoochee, you know, you can get you can go, that's what I love about Georgia. You can still go in the river and swim, you know, there's like a lot of trees around here. A lot of trees around here, a lot of nature, you know. You ain't gonna find that in New York unless you go to upstate New York. You ain't gonna really find it in Jersey unless you go to West Jersey, like the Pine Barrens, you know. Like it's everywhere. It's everywhere here, you know. There's a lot of undeveloped land, a lot of trees. I mean, a lot of houses, there are a lot of trees and undeveloped land, you know, that you can kind of go to. And I like it. A lot of nature, you know. A lot of the old farms, they turn them into parks, you know. So it's cool. That's what I love about Atlanta, you know. Yeah. 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 But yeah. Bro, fishing is some peaceful stuff, man. That's what I miss about Jersey. Is the beach. Like, I grew up on the beach. Like 2 blocks from the beach. You know, so my life revolved around the beach. You know, it revolved around like I used to own a surfboard, and, you know, and I would go body surfing, and then like we'd get beer balls. They don't sell them anymore. They used to sell what's called beer balls. It'd be about this big, and it was clear, and we buried in the ground, buried in the sand. Stick the bear ball in the sand, and just sit there and get drunk, start a bonfire, hang out, drink beer, you know. It was fun, man. One of my friends, like guys would go out and surf during hurricanes because the waves were incredible. One of my friends ended up dying, you know. That was sad. You know. That was really sad. You know. But yeah. That's what I miss about Jersey for sure. Hanging out at the beach. You know. Or go out on the jetties and go fishing. It's peaceful. You know. Even if you don't catch anything, it's peaceful. You know. It's yeah, it's peaceful. I like peaceful stuff. Like my life is so full of, you know, wow. It's distracting me. But it's it's that's funny. Said Drake's music is made for Target. It is. It's made for it's Target music. It's shopping music. It's commerce music. Music you hear and like, well, if malls still existed, they do. But it's mall music. But yeah, man. back to what I was saying. I suggest everybody find something that you find peace in. You know, mine is drums and fishing. You know, drums, fishing, and hanging out with my kids. Man. I love hanging out with my kids. You know, yeah. Yeah, of course. Yeah, man. EPA, yeah. Dude, our water is fresh, bro. Our lakes are pristine, man. Our lakes are pristine. You know. They're big on recycling and all that stuff, man. You know. Our drains, like the street drains, you can't just like put stuff in there because it's like it has a little fish on there. Like that stuff goes where the fish go. Like it's Georgia's a really green state. Green as in recycling green. It's a very green state. You know. So yeah, like there's a lot of places like Lake Lanier, you know, Chattahoochee River. It's all free, you know. A lot of places you can go swimming and fishing, you know. So yeah, the EPA, they don't care, you know. They're always making sure, like dude, Georgia is very, very, like, eco-friendly, very, if you're into, like, nature and stuff like that, come to Georgia. You know, there's trees everywhere. There's nothing to see deer in my yard. You know, deer. You know, like a black bear. It's nothing. You know, like not long ago, a black bear got hit by a car, and oh man, I can't remember. Peachtree Corners, which is a quarter mile from where I live. Like if I go up the street, go to McDaniel's farm, it's all wood. It's a huge. It was a farm that they turned into a park. It's nothing to see like a black bear. It's nothing, bro. You know, now if you see them, you slowly back away. You know, and they're not gonna. They're black bears. Although a black bear can kill you if it felt threatened, or if you go near its cubs. You know. And they'll, like, they got park rangers and stuff like that out there, so. And this is like 3 minutes away from my house. Like, you know, you can go to Shorty Howell Park, you know, that's 4 or 5 minutes from my house, you know, which is a huge green space. You know, I'm surrounded by green spaces, you know, so, yeah. Now, I'm going to say this, the drawback to that is, we have a lot of instances where trees fall on houses, trees fall on cars, you know what I mean? We have a lot of instances of that, you know. All right. 17 minutes. Alright. So it's been past 17 minutes, but I'm going to keep going. See, this is what I'm talking about. It gets good to me. It gets good to you, you just want to keep going. You know. This actually was a good workout. Now I gotta figure out, because I'm losing weight. So far I've lost about 5.5, 6 pounds. I don't want to stop working out, because for me it's easy for me to lose weight. It's easy. It's easy for me to wake up. But I don't want to stop working out. Usually I just stop working out. You know, to give it a while. And then I start working out again. I gotta find a way. I think I gotta do less cardio. That's it. I gotta just do less cardio. You know. You know what? I'm gonna say this, man. The way you lose weight is don't focus on it. Just focus on how you feel, and focus on, because if you keep scale watching, you keep sweating the scale, you're gonna get discouraged, man. Focus on how things get easier. Focus on your health. Focus on, because a lot of times when you work out, your sleep gets better. I notice when I'm not healthy, I'm out of shape, I start getting sleep apnea. I can't get a full night's sleep. You know, so Tide is trying to strike a chord, and it's probably A minor. Double entendre. And the chord in the song was an A minor chord. Wow. Wow. Serious double entendre. But yeah, so yeah, focus on how you feel. You know. Focus on just getting focus on consistency, working out every day. Or like I work out 6 days a week. I take Sunday off. You know. Don't try to do too much. You know, progress and increase if you're lifting weights. You know, or if you're doing like cardio, like a bicycle or something. You know, you might ride for like 20 minutes. And then once you get used to that, you push it to 30. Once you get used to that, you push it to 40. Once you get used to that, 45. Once you get used to that, push it to 55. Once you get used to that, you might as well just kick an hour in. You know? And then by the time if you start at 20 minutes, by the time you get to 35 minutes, when you're like, okay, well, I did 20 minutes. Let me start doing 35 minutes. Or let me start doing 30 minutes. By the time you get used to 20 and you hit 30, you're going to be like, okay, I'm starting to get used to it. By the time you push it to 35, maybe 40 minutes, you're going to be like, alright, well, I can keep doing this all day. You start going into a zone. Like for instance, I did an easy 45 minutes on the bike. I already passed my 17-minute mark on the elliptical. I already passed it. But it just feels so good. I'm like, whatever. You know, and I upped the intensity. The reason why I have this backpack on is this 45 pounds. I just added an extra 5 pounds. There's 45 pounds in here. It kind of like up the intensity. You know. So, and then after this, the last third of my workout is I'm gonna work out my legs. So yeah, man, it's real, bro. I'm naturally lazy, so I just try to find the easiest way to get a workout in. you know. And eventually, if you keep doing it, the intensity will just naturally go up. You know what I mean? And then what's going to happen is you're going to be like, I don't want to stop now. You start seeing the progression and the progression made. You're like, man. And then you start getting into a stride of, oh, it really is working. Then when you get on the scale, you're like, hey man, I lost like 11 pounds, or I lost like 17 pounds, or, you know what I mean? But yeah, don't focus on the weight you need to lose. Set a goal. Like my goal is 198. I weigh 212. I was weighing 219 and a half. I'm at like 212. At first, I wasn't really, at first I kept scale watching. I was like, something said, man, stop scale watching, you know better. I just kept going. And then randomly I was like, you know what, let me check my weight. I was like, 212, not bad. You know. But yeah, but if you're like scale watching, it's discouraging, man. You know. Charge it, damn it. Okay. Just playing it. 22 minutes to be exact. Now. I'll do that later. Yeah, man. There we go. That's better. Oof, all right. Calf workouts. He said the Florida Heat. Yeah. Really. Bro, piano lessons, man, are really, you know, I suggest if you want to play any instrument, guitar, bass, hold on, two. Two. Three. Um, But man, they're not gonna wake up. I'm a drummer, bro. My kids could sleep through a rave. You know. Um, that's the thing, bro. When you if you sit there and walk on eggshells, the kids are sleeping. You make them sensitive to anything. They wake up to anything. If you if you're like, hey, you just live your life. If you just live your life, go about your normal day, they get used to being able to hear background stuff. And it doesn't wake them up. I could go play drums now. They wouldn't get up. They'd be fine. Um, they're used to it. It's just like, if you baby talk to your kids, that it's like talk to your kids when hi no, my wife and I were like, we're gonna talk to our kids like adults. We want them to have good diction, to have good grammar. We want them, to be eloquent speakers. So we're going to talk to them like adults. If we use a big word that they don't understand, we're like, look, figure it out, look it up, go online, Google it. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Google it. Or like I still got like dictionaries and encyclopedias. I'm like, go read a dictionary. Go to the dictionary. Go figure it out. Go get a book, open it up, go in a dictionary. Because I don't want them to get used to just going on their phones and Googling, or going on their tablets and Googling and stuff like that. There's little things. If you want intelligent kids, you gotta treat them like that. Like I taught them how to read. I taught my oldest son how to read by using the King James Version of the Bible. That's a 12th grade reading level. And I said, you need to teach your little brother how to read, just like I taught you how to read. And I told my younger son, you need to teach your little sister how to read. So yeah, I taught them how to read using the King James Bible. And I wanted them to be readers, which is why you could look. I got books here. I got books packed up. I got books there. I got books there. You gotta make them read, man. Make them read. If you want intelligent kids, you can't let their phone. You can't let the phones or their devices or streaming services. You can't let them raise your kids. Now, there's a TV there. There's a 52-inch or 56-inch, whatever, TV in there. My wife and I have a 34-inch TV in our bedroom. There's a 32-inch TV on that side, and there's a 36-inch TV on that side in my studio. I used to use them as monitors. There's no televisions in the kids' rooms, and it's rare that the TV in our living room. It's rare that people watch it, and the reason why is because our kids are either reading, or my oldest son, he loves coding, so he's in his room coding, or whatever, But we're not for having all of these TVs in the house. We're not a TV family, But you have to be intentional with that. You know what I mean? Like if you don't want, hold on. If you don't want the influence of society on your kids, you have to be intentional, One. Shoot. Three. Four. Ah. Ooh. Ooh. What kind of books do I read? The Many Worlds Theory of Quantum Mechanics. I've got college textbooks. A lot of this stuff is history. Tacitus. Suetonius. Dante's Inferno. St. Augustine. Fox's Book of Martyrs. I read all kinds of stuff. What else? I know I have this is a good book right here. This is a great book. The Disciplined Life. That's a great book. But I have got a bunch of books over there. I read all kinds of stuff, man. Origin of Species by Darwin. You know, I've got early Christianity. I've got, you know, a lot of this stuff is Bible-based stuff. It's biblical stuff. I've got The Art of War by Sun Tzu. I got the Tibetan Book of the Dead. I got, what's over here? There's a bunch of stuff over here. So, there's all kinds of stuff. You know. Wait a minute. I have 2 copies of the Discipline. That must be my wife's. But yeah, like the E-Myth, How to Write a Business Plan, Think and Grow Rich. I just read it. I don't believe it. I just read it. The Power of Broke, Maximum Manhood, a lot of history stuff, you know, a lot of philosophy. So, C.S. Lewis, Mere Christianity by C.S. Lewis. These are the kids' books. They read all this stuff. So it's like Huck Finn, Storms Before Atlanta, Red Umbrella, The Danger Box, A Tale of Two Cities, Eli Weiss, David Copperfield, James Joyce, a portrait of an artist as a young man, King Lear. You know, this, you know, read all kinds of stuff, man. You know. You know, so. Yeah, I got tons of, like, you know, the Samson Syndrome. If you like history, if you like history, The complete works of Flavius Josephus. Everything we know about the first century is based on what this guy wrote. Complete works of Philo. Philo was he was a first century philosopher, Jewish philosopher. You know, so a lot of stuff, man. I have a lot of stuff. You know, got a lot of stuff. You know, a lot of stuff. Oh man, it's in there. Hold on. I don't know what I did with it. There it is, right over there. The Histories by Herodotus. This is a good book. I ended up getting 2 copies. They're both the same, just different translations. The Epic of Gilgamesh. This is a story from the first civilization, the Assyrians. I've got somewhere around here, the Code of Hammurabi. It's somewhere around here, man. I got books packed up, man. But that's my thing, man. History. If you don't understand what happened in the past, you're never gonna. Because history repeats itself, bro. You know, history repeats itself. You know, I've got all kinds of stuff, man. The Memoirs of Pontius Pilate. You know. You know, so I got all kinds of stuff. You know. Mythology. Mythology, I don't know if you can see that. This tells you the origins of all the Greek myths and what have you. Yeah, Sumerians. That's what I meant, Sumerian. I don't know why I think Assyrian. But yeah, this explains the origins of, you know, Egyptian mythology, Greek mythology, which is basically Roman mythology, Norse mythology, Aztec mythology, like different African mythologies. A lot of that stuff came from Africa. A lot of it. You'd be surprised. A lot of it. You know. A lot of it. Like a surprising amount. I think these are books I need to put up. Are they? Oh no. And that's an old book. You know. Ah, 4. Ah. Oof. But yeah. Um. But yeah, man. I love history, man. I love to. You know, bro. I love history so much, man. When I was a kid, I used to go to graveyards. Yeah. I used to go to graveyards, man, and just look at the grave sites. You know, because in my mind, like I was like, these are the people that came before us, and they're gone. You know, and I would go look for the oldest grave site, and I would go to the public library and look for. This is old school. You go through the microfiche, whatever things, and look for their obituaries if I could find them, or I would just like find out the history of the town I was in. You know, I lived in Jersey, and I'd be like, oh, that's why this is named Joline Avenue. Joline was one of the settlers in Jersey. He was a big time guy. He owned a lot of property. Oh, Lippincott. Lippincott is, you know what I mean? So I would learn the history of the town. You know, of like I'm from Long Branch, New Jersey. It's a resort town. But I would learn the history of the town I lived in. You know, so I just love the past. I love learning about the past. You know what I mean? So. Two. 3. 4. 5. Ooh, that hurt. Oof. 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 But yeah, so I got a lot of stuff, man. Chopped in half. But yeah, man, I would just yeah. I would just look up. I was just intrigued. I was always intrigued with the past. I would look at old houses. You know, like the town I'm from. There's a lot of revolutionary history. A lot of revolutionary history. A lot of World War II history. Like the Earl Naval Base. It's like not far north of where the town where I'm from is located. And there's nothing to see submarines docked there. You know what I mean? Nuclear subs coming in from, you know, being on some kind of mission, you know, patrolling or whatever. You know, so yeah, it's a lot of Revolutionary War history. You know, like the Battle of Monmouth in the Revolutionary War. That's the town where, you know, it's Monmouth County. Long Branch is in Monmouth County. You know what I mean? And just north of Long Branch is not Fort Monmouth. Fort Monmouth was an army. It's an army base, but it's Monmouth Park in Monmouth Township. And I lived in, you know, the town I lived in was in Monmouth County. So a lot of Revolutionary War history. And Seven Presidents Beach. They call it Seven Presidents Beach because before Camp David, you know, that's the vacation place where the president goes, there was Long Branch, New Jersey. presidents and 7 presidents went to Long Branch, New Jersey, to vacation, which is why, hence the term Seven Presidents Beach. Also, the very first known documented shark attack in the United States was in Long Branch, New Jersey, the town where I'm from. So, so it's a very, if you're from Jersey or New York or Philly, you know where Long Branch is. It's a pretty historic town. And it's a resort town. It's a pretty cool resort town. Like a lot of surfing. It's like West End. It's so California. It's like how Venice Beach used to be, because Venice Beach is full of bums and stuff. But it's very much, there's a surf shop there, there's a skate shop over there, there's outside cafes, there's like a bike shop, there's, you know what I mean, like, there's the beach, like, literally, it's like 7-minute walk to the beach, you know what I mean, so, it's, yeah, I come from a really, really big time resort town. One. Two. Three. 4. 5. Ah! That was the last set. Alright. Now, leg extensions. I gotta fix my skateboard. I need a longboard. That's what I need. I need a longboard. Badly. Yeah. Ooh. All right. Whoa. Warm-up set. My testicles getting in the way. Oof. Leg fatigue. Leg fatigue. Alright. You know what's crazy? A lot of people, like when you do calf raises, they Like, why is he doing calf raises? He looks goofy. The thing about calf raises is that's your balance. You know. Yeah. Um. Am I retired? No. I'll never retire from music, man. I'll never retire. You know. But what was I gonna say? Can't remember. I can't remember what I was gonna say. Just as a musician, I'll never retire. I did retire one time. I retired. And my friends were like, specifically a guy named Tim Boyce. The way me and Tim got close is, Tim had a lot of money. Tim made a lot of money. And people who were around him knew that, and they would try to take advantage of it, and they pretty much always had their hand out. You know, or there was always some kind of ulterior motive as to why they are around him. Whereas with me, I never asked him about anything. I never expected anything from him. I was just his friend. That's it. I was just his friend. You know, I would be like, hey bro, what are you doing? Oh, nothing. Come hang out, man. And we just hang out, you know. I'll be like, you know, and I'd take him out, like, yo man, let's go get something to eat, you know. And I knew he had more money than me, but, you know, it's the principle. Like, I asked him to hang out with me, you know. I'd be like, yo, you ever been to this restaurant? Nah. Come check it out, man. It's a dope Jamaican spot. You know, so it was like a situation where it was like, that was my boy. And I met him through this girl. She had a crush on him. She had a crush on me first. And then I was like, hey, you're young. You know, you're young. I was like, you're young, you're not my type. And then years later, I saw her, and she's like, Mark, come to my house. You can meet my boyfriend. So me and him got really, really cool. And she was older. Like, we were older, and we were more mature. And me and her got really cool. I miss her, man. She died. But we were, like, really cool. We got really cool. She's like my little sister, man. You know. And me and her man, Tim, he was kind of skittish of me. And later on, I found out because he had tons of. The dude was rich, so everybody was kind of like with their hands out. And like he told me this after the fact, he was like, "Man, I like you, bro." He said, "You never asked me for money. You never had any, you know, ulterior motives or nothing like that. You were just my friend. You know, you were just my homeboy. You know." So, you know, and like I admired the guy because he knew a lot. You know, I wasn't thinking about the money he made. I was like, he's just a cool dude. You know, but yeah, man, he was the one that I say all that to say, he was the one that when I say, yeah, I'm going to retire, he's like, Mark, you'll never retire. You're never going to retire. And the reason, he had a lot of money, he was in the music industry. You know, I should add that. He was in the music industry. But he was like, he hit me to a lot of the shade in the industry. A lot. He worked for Sony Records. He was a high up exec. at Sony Records. Um, he was a really high up executive. Um, really high up. And dude had an incredible house. You know, at the time he drove a white Ferrari. I think it was like an old school Testarossa or something like that. He drove a white one. He had a white Testarossa, and he had like a Porsche, like he had a Lotus, which was a piece of trash. He had a Porsche. He had the old school round back Porsche. I think it was a 924 or something like that. And he had that Ferrari. But he was like, let me tell you something, Mark. He said, you'll never retire. He said, you're too talented. You'll never retire. He said, you may walk away, but music is part of life. I was like, yeah, right. Whatever. So I like walked away from music for like 10 years. And then I got married and everything. And I was making a lot more money. I was doing property management. And I was making a lot more money then than I was now. And a couple people in my life, like my wife, a lot of my friends, well, not a lot, but like my wife and two of my friends, and they are important friends in my life. Like, they were in my wedding. They were like, you really need to consider getting back into music. You really need to consider it. And I don't make as much money as I did when I was doing property management. I don't make nearly as much money. But I'm frustrated, but I'm happy. You know, because I work from home, my wife works from home. You know, I'm always around my kids. I'm always around my wife. My wife and I have a relationship where if we're always, like no matter how long we're around each other, we can never get enough of being around each other. We just like being in each other's company, you know. Which is weird because I remember thinking back in the day, I'll never get married. I get tired of women too fast. The chicks drive me crazy. I'll never get married, you know. And, you know, it's just weird that I am married now, you know, and I'm with someone who I just like to be around. I like being around her, you know. So, you know, and I'm with one woman, you know. I don't want to cheat on her. I don't have a desire. I don't have a reason to cheat on her, so, you know. You know, no. My kids go to New Life Academy. This last year they were homeschooled, but they're going to go back to New Life Academy. My youngest son, my daughter went to a magnet school. No, she went to a STEM school. New Life Academy is a magnet school. My oldest daughter went to a STEM school. My oldest son is about to graduate from the same STEM school. You know, science, technology, engineering, and math, STEM. Um, my my daughter is in pre-med. My son, he doesn't know what he wants to do, but he's into coding. So he literally makes apps on. He uses his phone to code. My younger son is in the 99th percentile in math in the nation, not just in Georgia, in the nation. Um, and my youngest daughter, she's 11. She's just having fun being a kid, you know. But she's going back to New Life Academy, and this year coming up, my oldest son will be in his senior year. My younger son will be in his freshman year, and my oldest daughter, she just finished her freshman year of college, but she has the opportunity to start the next year, this upcoming year, as a junior. So if she wants to, she can graduate in 3 years. She doesn't want to graduate in 3 years because it takes 6 months to study for the MCAT, that's how you get into medical school. You got to pass the MCAT. So it takes 6 years to study for the MCAT. So she's going to graduate in like 3 years, 6 months. You know. So, like I tell my kids all the time, 2 things. I tell them there's no such thing as can't. Either you don't want to put in the work, or you haven't figured out how to do it. But you can do whatever you want. Don't tell me like you can do whatever you want. And I always drilled it in their head. You know, and I also tell them, work as hard as you can now. If you can get skipped a couple grades, get skipped a couple grades. Work as hard as you can now, so that when you finish with all the schooling, you still got a lot of life to live. You know, you still got a lot of life to live afterwards. Like you can be young and be like, oh, well, how old are you? Oh, I'm so and so years old. Really, you're young. Oh yeah, I got skipped a couple times. You know, so yeah, you know, I've definitely, you know, we're big into education. You know, a lot of kids are like, they want their kids to play sports. There's a shelf life to that. And it's a hit or miss whether you're going to make it or not. It's a hit or miss. Education, you can just learn. Just learn and learn. Just read a bunch of books. You know what I mean? So, you know. Yeah. Please never drink that agua. Really? Really? Oh, man. Oh, I'll leave it like that. That was all. Yeah. I didn't know that. I never knew that. He's akin to Einstein. Nah, bro. No, bro. I always wanted smart kids, man. You know, I always wanted to marry a smart woman so we could raise smart kids. You know, I'll be honest, bro. Like, black people, descendants of slavery, we were raised to be strong. They got big black bucks, bred them with big black gals, and made big black babies. And I always thought, what if we were bred to be intelligent? So then, I was like, I want to marry an intelligent woman, because I'm a fairly intelligent guy, and I want to raise intelligent kids, you know. So even with our kids, my oldest daughter, she hates it. I'm like, you kids are smart. And my wife told my daughter, she goes, you know your dad bred for intelligence. He married me because I'm smart. You know. And then, like, I tell my kids, I'm like, look, you're smart. You're genetically predisposed to intelligence. Like, you were bred with intelligence in mind. You know. My oldest daughter hates it. She's like, I don't like that. I was like, it's the truth. I purposely married a woman, an intelligent woman, because I wanted intelligent kids. You're bred for intelligence. You know, so watch who you marry, man. Marry a smart woman. Marry a smart woman because as the leader of the household, I lead my household, but as the leader of the household, you're not going to have all the answers. You got to surround yourself with smart people. And the first person you start with is your wife. You know. Ooh, that hurts. 2, 3, 4. Last set. 5. But yeah, that's why it's nothing for like you look at guys like Ken Griffey Jr. His father was Ken Griffey Sr. You look at guys like Steph Curry. His father was Dale Curry. He played in the league. You know, you look at the Manning brothers. Their father's Archie Manning, a quarterback. Like, you know, like you know, you gotta kind of. Now I'll say this. I'd rather my kids get into the tech side of the music industry, than the performance side. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, oh yeah. They say, I got a friend up in Georgia. Stalking her. What's going on? If she has a stalker, this is Georgia, man. You know, the gun laws are pretty lax. She might want to get her gun license. You know, get a gun, get a license, get a gun, and take, gun safety, firearm safety classes. Learn how to shoot. They got a bunch of places over here, gun ranges where you can shoot. There's like one 10 minutes away, like 7 to 10 minutes away. That's what I do. My wife is going to get her gun license because she's in therapy and she specializes in uh, grief and trauma and domestic violence and domestic abuse. And dudes that are domestic, you, like the most dangerous, like a dude will find a way, you know, if a woman is being abused and she leaves her man, that's the most dangerous time because she can get killed. You know, and it's nothing for a dude to go over and be like, oh well, that person must have helped her leave, so I'm gonna off my ex-wife and I'm gonna off this person. So, you know, I'm like, I know, you know, I mean, I'll eventually I'm gonna get a firearm, you know, but with her work, she needs to. Woo, them legs burn. All right. Yeah. All right, I gotta get out of here. I got a bunch of reading to do. Yeah, got a bunch of emails to check. Yeah, I'll definitely be back.